Good afternoon, everyone. This is Felicia at Sister Girl Radio, IntellectualRadio.com. I'm here with Will. Hi, Will.
Hello, Talisha.
Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Tell them a little bit about yourself, Will, before we get into our topic of Black Fathers Matter.
Well, this is my second visit to the show. You had me on a few weeks ago. My name's Will. I'm a married father of two great sons. I got one in college, one in high school. They're both going into their junior year in each. And my wife is Kelly. Just celebrated my third anniversary.
You better know when your wedding day. What's your wedding day?
May 31st. So yeah, that's about me. I'm in broadcasting as well. Just finished with my broadcasting schooling. I wasn't about to say anything. Just say my broadcasting schooling, and yeah.
Well, that's wonderful, and congratulations on your third wedding anniversary, and many, many more. So let's just jump right into it, Will. I posted on Facebook that there's so many questions for the absentee father in the Black community that I wanted to flip it up and talk to fathers that are actually active. And your situation is a little interesting because I know you've been active in your son's life.
Correct.
And now you've taken on a bonus. I don't call them stepchildren. I call them bonus child.
No, I call them my inherited.
Your inherited. Okay, we'll call it what you call them. Your inherited child.
My inherited child, yeah.
So I have questions on Facebook I want to get right into.
Okay.
So I'm going to fire at you.
All right, fire. Go ahead. Fire away.
This is a question from Cece. She said, what can a woman do as a mother that will ensure that the dad stays active in her child's life? What are obstacles and what other advice could you give?
To Cece, again, to keep a father involved in a child's life is one, don't use the child as a bargaining tool in parenting, things of that nature. Again, I don't know if her and that gentleman are together or whatever, but if you all are not together, just stay cordial with each other. And again, don't use your child as a weapon. Now, there's things, you can do. I mean, you really being a good father or a father in a child's life, that's actually a choice of the man. My thing is just, try to keep it as comfortable for him as possible. As if he's being respectful to you and the child. Any ill feelings or you harboring any ill feelings, don't let that come between yourself but between yourself, the child, and him. Let that between you two. But when it comes to parenting, be open-minded, and I say, be fair.
I do notice a lot of women in our community I say use the child as a pawn, or they're bitter, or if you have moved on,
right, they
don't like that as well. So since I've been knowing you like 15 years, I don't remember how old your son was when I first met you, but was that difficult with you and your child's mother? Lord help me. Child's mother, was that a struggling point with you two, or did you guys, because it seemed like you always had your son and was always active. So was there ever a struggle that you personally dealt with that once the relationship was over and you had to go into co-parenting?
No, I didn't have any real issues. My son and his mother and I, we had our differences, yeah, of course, but nothing never came me. I made it a point to myself, like I would never let anything that happens with myself and her not allow me to be the best father I can be to my son. And plus it was my first child and only biological child, and it was a boy. So I definitely wanted to be in his life. I had my father in my life, so I had a great example, and then I wouldn't be able to live with myself with not making that effort or doing that the same for my son. So I can say that I was blessed. I didn't have any real struggles. You had arguments and stuff like that, but other than that, she never used him, as you said, as a pawn, or it held him over my head. A lot of people, deal with the courts and child support. I never had to deal with that, with raising him, and she allowed me to be the father that I am, no matter what we went through. So, and then I think, from the type of person I am, I think that helped out as well because it's like it don't work out. I still was respectful of her or whatever, and she did her thing, I did mine, so
Do you
I didn't
feel
have a big problem.
okay? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
No, I
ahead.
was finished.
Do you
Sorry.
Would you have been the type to go to court to fight for your son? Because I feel like a lot of black fathers give up. Like, just give up. Like it's hard. Like when you hear the guy on the radio, like your rights matter and things like that. And I think a lot of black dads give up. They don't want to go to court. And they don't want to fight for their child. They just, she's taking the 500 a month out and hey, have it and be done with it. I don't think they put forth a lot of effort. Then I talked to some black fathers. They were like, I'll go to court, I'll fight, But I don't think in our community a lot of black men fight good to exercise their rights as dads. Do you see that a lot? I know you have to observe that.
Yeah, I observe it. I actually have two friends that actually did go through that. Like they went through years of that fighting for custody for their children, their sons, and they got the custody, but they did fight. It took a lot of effort, a lot of money. I myself, of course, I would fight for my child. And I know you're talking about the Jeffrey Levin commercials and things of that nature. Actually, I actually went down to that office for a consultation before because it was a situation where at a certain point in time, I kind of thought that, things may go left. So to protect myself and to prepare myself what may have been would have come forward, I went down and had a consultation to see what things I can do to prevent from it getting too bad or going too far where people are like, well, why are you fighting now? So, I mean, I prepared myself that way. But again, I was blessed not to have to go through that. So, yeah, I will definitely fight for my son. And I would encourage men, especially black men, to fight for them, to fight for their sons if they're having an issue. I mean, it's
not just their sons.
Well, their children. Their children. I'm sorry. Yeah, their children.
Their children.
Right. So
I just see it a lot in our community, and I think that the reason I want to do this show is because if I wanted to do a show about single mothers, I'd have a line from here to downtown Chicago of women who could come on my show for that. But to have fathers that are active in their children's life and not be with a mother, it's very rare that fight to be in their child's life. I have a friend that fights to be in his son's life continuously, constantly. And his motto is, if I have to go to court, I have to go to court. And there would be nothing that would prohibit him from being in his child's life. But then we have the different spectrum where we have the black mother who never hears from the father. They're getting $50 a month out of the child support. Then when you call the father, just ask for something extra, they're like, well, your mama getting child support. You can't even go down the street and put gas in your car for a week for $50. But legally, they feel like because they're doing their part of what you signed up for or whatever, that's it. Like, come on now, Will. You know how much it takes to raise a child.
Yeah, it takes a lot. And again,
let's talk dollars and cents. It takes a lot of money to raise a child.
I know.
So for a father to think that little 300 whatever is going to be suffice is very naive of him.
Yeah, true. True. It takes a lot of financial commitment to take care of a child. Again, I know firsthand. I had my child. I was young. I was 20. I was going into my junior year in college. So it's a strain. It's stressful sometimes, especially you got other things you're trying to do. Take care of yourself, take care of your children, your family. But the fathers that don't or complain or say I'm paying this in child support and that's enough. I look at it like how were you raised? What did you see growing up? Was your father there? Was your what examples did you have? That's we tend to become what our environment is. So if a young man is grown up and his father wasn't there and he doesn't have a male figure in his life telling them how to be a man and how important it is to be in your son's or daughter's life, no, he doesn't know any better. He just know what he sees.
I have to come against you on that, Will.
God.
Even even though you might not have it in your life, you have examples all around you. When we were younger, you know how many people, and we're not going to discuss his state of mind right now, what's going on in his life, but how many children Bill Cosby raised back in the 80s? They didn't have that structure and didn't know what it means for the black community to have two parents with a great income and careers. Do you know how many guys say Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince raised them? You know, or your uncles or brothers or whatever. I just don't believe that you can just necessarily go by that one experience and say, okay, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. And you can't keep using that as a crutch as well, because you still know that we all are humans, right? And we need the necessities, shelter, food, and water, right? So whatever, if you had a dad in your life or not, you know that little baby needs those essentials, right? So you can't necessarily go by what my daddy didn't do. That you know that this baby needs milk, Pampers, and to be taken care of.
Okay, but you may know better, but do you do better? I mean, it's a state of mind. You talk about Bill Cosby and Uncle Phil and you know Mr. Winslow from Family Matters. But look, are those shows even on TV anymore? Do we have those examples? That was in the 80s. That's almost these early 90s. When the last time?
It still comes on though. It still come on 5-6 times a day each.
Okay, what kid is sitting in the house looking at that in syndication?
A lot of kids still watch it. Really? I'm not trying to say we should rely on television to raise our kids. I'm saying that even if your father wasn't in your life, you know that this is a human being that you've brought into this world and it needs things. You might not do it properly or have the mentality behind it, but you know that the mother can't wake up and if this baby's going to survive, not feed it. To have clothes. These are things that don't have to come from the way you were raised. These are natural things that we all need as humans. That's why I'm saying I can't just go by why Will ain't taking care of his son. Well, Will knows his son needs to eat.
Right, and I agree with you, and that goes back to my statement of saying like, okay, we all know right from wrong, right? But people still do wrong even though they know what's right. Do this. That's the same thing with having a child. You know you need to do this for the child, but you feel, well, I'm doing that. The courts got me paying this and that. And then the bitterness go both ways. The man may be bitter about the woman. The man may be bitter about the woman going on with her life. And she's like, well, they can have that. I'm not about to get involved with that. She gets this little change or whatever it is, and I don't need to be involved. Well, I know firsthand, being that I haven't inherited son. So it's like, you know what's right and you know what's wrong. It has to be in you to do right. It has to be instilled in you to do right. I mean, I agree with you. Of course people know this is what they need to do. And again, everybody depends on everybody's mentality. So I mean, that's about it. And as I mentioned, the guys that I know that fight for their children and that's going through it, including myself, we had examples. We I had examples with my grandmother and grandfather. I had example with my mother and father, who's been married 45 years. My friends I told you about, their parents is in their life. One of my buddies, his mom had passed while he was young. It was just him and his father. So they've had great examples to show them and pave the way, and it's also being held accountable. Is somebody in your family holding you accountable? I know when I had my child, my parents was even saying like, you gotta grow up now. You gotta grow up fast now, because that boy needs you. You gotta be there. You know what I mean? So I had reinforcement behind me, even if I wanted to say no, forget that. I let that go. No, I had reinforcements like you created the child. It's your job to take care of that child. So again, it's what's your structure? What you see? We see so many young men, and we see so many young men in those situations, and it's just a vicious cycle, perpetual cycle. Where that's why you see so much going on in the streets and things of that nature. So
I said that on my last show. If we could just all go to the city of Chicago and give all these boys a hug. I mean, I'm
what
not
they
trying to be
need.
funny.
You're
I'm not
right. They
trying to be
need
funny.
love.
That
They need love.
if you go into, if we take time to look into the homes of a lot of these men out here, they don't have a father, or they didn't have a father,
Right.
or their mama didn't tell them they love them, or whatever the situation may be. But I guarantee you, it's an acceptance thing. A lot of the gun violence is acceptance because it comes from needing a hug. And I mean, literally, like somebody in their life is saying, you don't have to do that. You're somebody special. These men aren't out here for you in a good way. Back to the structure thing. Now, some of these men, they have mothers, fathers, they just want to be thugs, gangsters, whatever. But a lot of these young boys that they're recruiting, I guarantee you have broken homes. I guarantee. I
Yeah,
bet money.
that's that the mind. They get to them young. That the mind is like putty. They can mold them any way they want to. But
Exactly.
you got to get that has structure. And not to say who somebody who has structure is gonna be perfect. Because again, I've had my faults, had my flaws, had my mistakes and bad decisions. So you
Child's
learn.
mother together when he was little.
Yeah, we were together until he was about 3.
Okay.
So we were together then. But after that,
Wow, so it was a long time.
right.
So let's switch gears. Let's talk about your inherited child.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a stepfather that's a superhero to me. He came in when I was 9. I tried to get him to come on the show. So even though I'm not his biological child, to me he's my father. And anything happens that would just crush me. But it has to be, I'm not gonna say hard, but when he did come into my life as being 9, it was a change. I was right, growing up, becoming a little girl and everything. So you came into your inherited child's life. What was that transition for him, you, the family? Of course, when you met her, you knew she had a child. But what was that transition for you, bringing on someone else's child as your own?
You have to be. You have to know that you have to be open and responsive to the child because you're the adult. You have to be accepting to that child. And you have to let the you have to set the ground rules or the foundation for that moving forward. So even before I proposed to my wife, me and him, I had a talk with him. I you know told him like, hey, this is what I plan to do. We're gonna be a family, and I told him, I'm not trying to replace. You have your father, but I told him like, you have an additional father now. You can talk to, you can do the same things you would do with your father. You can come talk to me about anything, and it took some time because I came into his life when he was 9. Not like he was a little baby, but he was still young and impressionable. So I tried to put my best foot forward and that I'm here for him. I'm not here to be mean, and I'm gonna treat you just like I would treat my own son.
Was he resistant at first?
I know he's not resistant. He's a good kid. He's kind of soft spoken, pretty shy, but would always talk with his mother like things the next. He would all anything he need or anything he had a question about, he would go to his mother, and it helps that my wife is was supportive and learning to be comfortable with me because
Well, that's all he knew. Was to go to
well, yeah,
mom.
yeah, yeah. I was saying that's what I'm saying. It's and it wasn't nothing rebellious or anything like that. I think we developed a really good relationship. Now him and my son's an excellent relationship. Just like they was, it seems like they was been brothers since they were kids. Well, I mean that's just and that made it a little easier. No, it wasn't. Like I said, I've been blessed. It wasn't really hard. And then again, I think I'm very supportive and I'm inviting. So I open, I let let him see who I was, not by just what I say, but by my actions. So now it's cool.
What's your relationship with his father?
That's funny. I've never ever met his father.
Relationship with his father?
I
Wow.
mean, not to get further in it.
No, I'm not trying to dig
yeah,
deep.
yeah. I
I'm just
mean,
asking general questions here because sometimes you have to when they say you marry the whole family, sometimes you literally do marry the whole family.
Yeah, but no, he's.
And if he was active, I was just want to know if you had a relationship but you've never met him. And you guys been together for how many years?
Since 2000, met in 2010, 2011.
So in 7 years, you've never met his father, spoken to him or anything. Wow. In that gap.
Yeah, and again, I've always, I don't know, you know, I can make my own discernment about what I see. You don't have to talk about it to see what's going on. The child to see it. And I've even encouraged. I say, man, keep a relationship with your father. Talk, keep, if things happen for certain reasons. And then I said, I don't, I try to come off to say, I would never say anything bad in front of him about his father. I've told him, like, keep that relationship with your father. You never know what happened down the line. And, as time goes on, the relationship or depending on what's going on, the relationship would develop itself with you and your father. So no, I mean that's one of the things I found was funny because I knew when Gino, my son, going in high school, he wanted to move down to Mississippi where his mom was. So his I told her when I found out that he would be staying, spending night sometime at another person's house, another man. I came to, I said, hey, I need to meet. I need to meet this person. I need to talk. I need to know who's around my son because I want him to be protected, and I want him to know that I don't mind you. You treat my son right. You're not replacing me, and two, I want to make sure my son is comfortable. So I had to meet him. They made a trip up here. When it's coming to see a mother, or whatever, and I met him there. So
how do you feel about him?
He's a nice guy. He's really cool. Family man, hardworking guy. My son has a good relationship with him. So, that was that healthy medium we made. So,
but you let him know who the chief was.
Not I let him know who the chief was.
You did. You said you're not replacing me. I'm dead.
Well, I didn't say him. I didn't say it directly to him.
You probably danced around it.
That's my That's kind of how I just wanted to. That was my train of thought. That's my train of thought. Like, okay, this is my child, and he's already got a dad, and it's established, how he's raised and how I raise him, and then it's all good. We have no problems, and I feel like that's a respectful thing to do. And my thing is, if your child is living with another man and they got a whole nother life, no matter what you got going on with the mother, I would want to meet that person to know who's around my child.
But you're 1 in a million.
I know
that's more. The right way to do it, though.
I'm saying I know I have plenty of friends who are in relationships.
Okay, so then the 5 of you. I'm just saying, if we do the ratio for active African American fathers in our society, it's not that high. If they're not with the mother, it's not that high. Okay. I want to boost it. There's nothing I can do, but pray. I want to boost it because it's sad. But the ratio is very low. So I'm glad you have friends that you can talk about, but we need to kind of get your advice for those dads out there that can look at you as a positive outlook and look at you like, maybe because you never know who you're ministering to when you're on the radio.
Yeah, you never know.
You say to fathers that are absent or who want to integrate themselves back in their child's life, but the wife or the ex-wife or the ex-girlfriend is using their child as a pawn. What advice would you give our Black fathers out there that want it, but they don't want to deal with Keisha and her attitude, or because he got a new girlfriend and she still want him and now you can't see your child? I've heard that 1,000 times from women. If you ain't gonna be with me, you can't see your son. And if we can't still be together, you can't see your daughter. And we do that constantly, and that's not healthy for the baby.
No, that's not healthy at all. My advice is
representation as well, because I know Levy costs an arm and a leg, so everybody can't go to Mr. Levy and pay $3,500, $4,500 to get legal representation.
no, everybody can't go to him, but you can always go to down to the courthouse and to petition for things. You can, Mr. Levin, his office, they do get free consultation, and they give you, something that they can give you somewhere to start. If you can't afford it, you can always go down to the court. There's always a public servant down there that you can speak with. That it, if you give them your situation, that there's some way that they can help you. Now, again, like you said, some of it does take financial, a financial commitment, but that's the other route. And the one thing I can give advice to the absentee fathers or men that are to one, be more, be more responsible for what you're doing. Out here in the moment, but don't make the kids.
Amen.
Don't make the kids. Just and if you're doing the act, just know you're not doing, taking the steps to protect yourself. Just know there's a chance that you can create a life, and at that point in time that you're responsible for. And unfortunately, I know you say some guys don't want to deal with the bull or deal with the drama. You're gonna have to deal with some drama. You're gonna, it's not easy. We just want things the way we want it, like Burger King, to have it your way. Can't have it your way. When you get two different individuals involved with each other, you just have to do what you're responsible for doing. And once you create a life, you're responsible for that life. And just know, nobody's gonna feel sorry for you. That's another thing. We want a pity party. Nobody's gonna feel sorry for you. Now, if you're doing doing everything you can, and you having obstacles, what you will have going through the path, you just gotta persevere and fight through it. That's the best advice I can give. Like I said, a lot of things I had to sacrifice at 20 going in 21. Until I got my first job, I could tell my wife all the time, I was like, oh my God, I can't wait till I have a check where I can just have it for myself.
Never gonna happen
that's
again.
never gonna happen. Especially being married now.
Still running that coin. And then
right.
here gonna come the grandbabies, and now you're gonna be granddaddy. So just it's never gonna stop.
He said he's not having no kids
right now.
But yeah, but yeah, I mean,
and then your inherited son, he might have children later down the line.
Yeah, he might. So that's what I'm saying. You just have to know that once you get in that realm of fatherhood, you're gonna be held responsible.
That's what you're trying to say, especially, no offense to my black brothers, but you baby number 17, baby mama number 7. I mean, I want to get a little van and just start giving free vasectomies.
Now that's
I'm serious.
That's completely irresponsible. I get you with that.
I'm just saying, at some point, and it does go back to the slave days, because back in the slave days, men were studied out. The black man was studied out to make 15 to 20 babies almost per year. Like they wanted them to make that per year. They would take them to different plantations to stud them out, depending. So I think even now in this day, we have this mentality, like after the 10th child that you can no longer take care of, what are we doing here? It's not manhood. You're not being a man because you have. Now, if you got enough money to take care of them, make them until you die, make as many as you want.
Right.
But when it's the woman just taking care of them, and that Burger King check is not going to stretch, and I'm not being funny.
I know I'm not being funny either.
It's time to do some things about it.
You have to be responsible. And again, that comes with what you're taught, how your
pocket should teach you that when a check says you owe us, because you didn't have so many people put you on child support. Well,
I mean, you're right. I don't have the answer for it.
I know you don't.
I don't have the answer for it.
If you did, you would be a multimillionaire right now. Okay?
I surely will.
You would.
I'd be in there with Bill Gates.
You would be in there with Bill Gates, exactly. But I'm just saying, you stopped after one. So whatever you was doing, it registered. Once you realize you have a mouth to feed for the next 18 years, it has to be. Sometimes everything can't be what you your parents or whatever. It has to be your personal experience sometimes, Will.
Right.
I can't keep going. My daddy wasn't there. My mama wasn't there. My sister wasn't there. My cousin wasn't there. Sometimes I have to say, my paycheck says this, and then after they take that, it says this. I might want to slow down.
You might, but when when guys, when those hormones is going and you get yourself in a situation at that those moments, you have a lack of judgment and you're not thinking. But and again, that comes back to being responsible. It's just a level of irresponsibility that needs to be put in check. And if the guy, again, I don't know what's being taught in schools. I had a conversation with my youngest son. He's about to be 16. I even, you had those couple of conversations. I just straight up asked him, like, man, what you doing out here? I mean, you got, he a little pretty boy, light skinned dude, light eyes and stuff like that. Play football, so got a little.
He ain't gonna tell you.
I understand he's not gonna tell me, but I always tell him, man, I was 16, I was 15, 16 too. I played football just like you. I try to keep him in check like that. So I give him, like I did with my oldest son, give him warning, say, hey, what are you doing?
No baby showers here.
Right. Like, and
to touch on that, I was having a conversation with one of my male friends yesterday to kind of get sidetracked off the Black Fathers Minor for a moment. How we raise our children, as far as okay to be sexualized, but women are not. For example, you set your son down. Hey, what you doing out here, right? But I guarantee you, Will, and be completely honest with me.
Mm-hmm.
If it was a girl, it's boys only want one thing, and save yourself. And women are not allowed to be sexualized like boys are. If a boy be like, man, I slept with 10 girls, you'd be like, man, you need to catch up. But if a woman says, I've been with 30 guys, oh, you got miles on you. Be honest with me. In our society, we're looked at one way, and the boys are not. They're raised differently.
I would be more cautious with
your daughter,
my daughter, because
why?
One, I don't want her to be labeled.
But boys can be labeled.
I understand boys can be labeled, but boys labels, it really don't stick to boys like it does women. So my girl, I need you to be respectable. I want you to, I want you to understand. And luckily I don't have any daughters where I had to go through this. But if I had a daughter, I would definitely hold her at a higher standard.
Why?
Because that's my daughter.
But why can't we raise boys to wait and be virgins? Why are we only raising girls that way?
I raise my boys like that.
Well, in general being the stereotype with women and men raise. We do not raise our boys to wait and respect themselves like that. We raise them that as many notches as you get on your belt, boy. And then the girl, you be virgin, don't let the guys take advantage of you. We don't, in our society, come on now, it's not even. It's not.
I know it's I just said it's a double standard.
But why? Nobody here, I guess this goes back to your Bill Gates millionaire staff. Why is that? Because you don't want me to have a label, but boys get reputations too. But like you said, it don't stick.
It doesn't stick to boys. Like,
sad.
A boy reputation be like, man.
And he's patted on the back if he slept with 20 girls. But if they find out the girl slept with 5, she's the floor. Why? Why can't women because
women are held to a higher standard in society.
Not fair.
Sexually than men. Because women are supposed to be a prize for men, like you're supposed to be the responsible. What they say, like the girls are supposed to be the more mature ones. So be mature.
Don't go there, Will.
Let us be mature.
Don't go there, Will. Don't go there.
But yeah, again, it's just I believe it's just because women are held at a higher standard in our society.
But I believe we can raise boys to respect themselves just as much as we can.
I believe that too. That's why I respect.
But we don't.
I can't speak for everybody, every other black man out there, but I speak to myself. I tell my sons, now if they go out there, if honestly, a boy, if I had a girl and we had to talk, and
it would be a totally different conversation.
It'd be a totally different conversation, but I tell them, like, I know there's situations you can get yourself into, but know how to backpedal. But if you do, this is how you protect yourself. My girl,
don't do it.
I would say I wouldn't want you. That would hurt. That would break your daddy's heart if that happened. If something happened, and if I found out it happened, it's like I would be more disappointed in my daughter than I would my son. Even though I would be disappointed with the son, but
being a man, right?
True. He's being. I mean,
that is so.
He's being a man,
so
but
sexist.
No, it's not very. That's not
well,
sexist
yes.
at all.
Why can't we be just as sexual as the men? You do not have an answer.
I just gave you an answer.
Because we're held at a
we had a
higher
higher standard.
Okay.
Then
we can go back and forth about this for 6 hours. You know
yeah,
that,
we
right?
can. We can.
At the end of the day, we are not allowed to be sexualized as women. We are not. If you had met let's just say hypothetically speaking, we know your wife's a very respectable woman, but if you had met her and she's like, oh, I've been with 100 guys and I'm a porn star. So we said on the men versus women, you said you would not date her. She couldn't go home to mama, right? But when we meet guys and they say 50, 60 women, we both like, oh, okay. Oh, it's just a man being a man. You would have all kind of things running through your head. She wouldn't be somebody you would want to be in a committed relationship. She wouldn't be somebody you would want to take around your friends. Yes or no?
No.
Exactly. But I'm supposed to take the man that's been with you. See what I'm saying? How is
no, I'm not saying you're supposed to take the man. I mean,
but it happens all the time.
I think men should be mindful of their their exploits, just like women, because it's again once you sharing your soul with somebody in those
right. If we get on the spiritual level, right? Because Jesus did say when he looked at the lady that she had many husbands, so people don't think about the spiritual aspect of it as well.
Right. So I mean, it go to me. It's you should be held accountable both ways, but I just think that women are in our society are held, and that goes to the beginning of the time, are held at a higher standard.
Figure out how to make black men be in their children's lives and stop making women sexualized. And I want a piece of that cut when you do come up with it. Because I asked you to do it, so I need you to cut me in. Okay, you got me.
Well, that's second, but I don't know if it's ever going to be an answer.
I don't think it'll ever be. I don't think it'll ever. It'll be 1,000 years from now. You'll be dead and gone. They'll still be doing it. It's sad. Yeah, I think it's sad. Of course you don't. You're a man. Of course you don't think it's sad.
But again, I don't want I don't want my child,
your daughter. Out here. If you had a daughter.
My child. Either one. Well, I don't want my boys, being irresponsible and then slanging out here like that.
But your daughter, like you just said, you would be disappointed. You give your son the condoms, but your daughter, you would say you would be disappointed. You just said
that. I'm not changing that answer. I would be, because that would be my daughter. That's my baby.
Well, I
can't. You can't deflower my baby.
I understand.
Can't deflower my baby.
It's just I just want our black men to wake up, and I want and to change gears on our sisters. Let's talk about them a little before we go. Mm-hmm. Once it's over. It's over. Do not sacrifice your child's relationship with their father because you're bitter. Period. He don't want you no more, or you don't want him anymore. That's fine. But it's a lot of women who are sacrificing their relationships with their kids, their fathers with their kids, because of their bitterness. Whether he cheated, whether he had whatever he's done, unless he's physically abusive, because you might be afraid that'll happen to the child. That's a whole nother
unless you don't want the child around a certain lifestyle.
Right. That's a whole nother.
I've seen that situation as well.
We're not talking about drug use. We're not talking about physical abuse. We're talking about a normal father who works a hard 9 to 5, who wants to be in his child's life, but he just decided me and moms ain't gonna work out. Right. Do not sacrifice that, because it's very important for men, for little boys and girls. Because they've done studies on how it affects them in school. It affects abandonment issues with kids. Because I have that, with my dad. Because no matter what, like you said, no matter what people come in your life, it's nothing like that original relationship.
Right.
So don't sacrifice them. But my mom never said that my father couldn't be there. It was all, never talk bad of that. But there are a lot of women that are bitter and using their kid. You can't see your kid. You got a girlfriend. She can't be around. And we got to stop that. Because it's not all men. It's not all men. I cannot say it's all fathers. I know a lot of black women right now who are using their kid as a pawn.
Yeah, and
until he take me back, he can't see his child, and this, and that. So you gonna make this man be with you to see his child?
And then that you're putting the child in a hostile environment. For one, like I've always said, like when I got in things with my son's mother, I would try not to. I would try not to argue. I would try not to argue with her in front of him, even though sometimes things happen. But most of the time, I would try to protect him from that. It was times where you know you try to keep that bond because you don't want the child scarred. Like you said, you don't want the child to say, I don't want to deal with you because you treated my mother this way, or I want to deal with you because you treated my father that way. And I do think it is really unfair to fathers that want to be in a child's life, and a mother is being that way. So I think it's both parents have to be mature. You both laid down and made the child, so it's responsibilities that come with the children. And again, a lot of and honestly, again, I go back to TV. There's so much stuff that's thrown out here in TV and on the internet. These reality shows, these different women. I seen some where the woman say, I can have a child. I just don't want, I don't need you in my child's life. I can raise the child on my own. I just want my child. You know what I mean? And
I know exactly what you're talking
about.
And
I just think that
Portia.
Those.
You probably don't know their names. Well, you ain't that cold with the reality. But you're talking about. She's talking about Portia from the Real Housewives, who says she just wants the baby. She don't want the father. So, but I guarantee you, she'll want that check as well, though.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I've heard it. What is it? Portia from the
Real Housewives of Atlanta. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard it on other shows. It's just
reality shows. This generation is not something you want your children to be watching. This is not the Bill Cosby Family Matters era. Trust me.
Right.
This is not their example. Is get as many surgeries as you can to get the baller. So this is. I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about old school.
Now I'm just saying things that contribute to it.
Oh yeah.
Things that contribute to it. So
why would you make yourself a single mother? Why would you do that? But she's not the sharpest knife in the drawer anyway.
I guess independence. Women think because I can financially take care of myself or financially take care of my child, I can be this single mother. And it's just not true. That's not natural. We're not brought into this world. Exactly. Yeah, we're not brought into the world just to be brought up by one parent. You need both parents. It takes a village. Yeah, it definitely takes a village. And again, like I said, I was blessed to have a village with my son. My youngest son has a village now to bring him up. Not to say he didn't have a village before, but he has a bigger village.
He has a blessing. You're a blessing to him.
He's a blessing to me too. I always wanted 2 kids.
And now you didn't have to change diapers.
Right. I'd have to go through that early stage with it.
My wife want more kids?
No, we're good.
Well, you're an old man now.
Yeah, I'm 40 now, so I don't think
there's nothing wrong with that. Y'all might want one more.
Right, there's nothing wrong with it, but
you just that college tuition getting to you.
Man, luckily, I didn't have to do too much.
He got a scholarship?
Yeah, he got scholarships and
nice.
AIDS, so.
Well, you got one coming up though.
Yeah, I got one coming up.
Because he a junior, it's over. You might as well say he's done.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, basically, but yeah. I've been, like I said, I've been in the game 20 years.
Right. You don't want to start over.
I always start that over.
I understand. Well, Will, thank you so much for being here. This is a great show. I want to take the time to say early Happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
It's been great being a friend of yours for these past 15 years. You're a great example of what an African-American dad should be. And I applaud you for that.
I appreciate that.
Thank you so much, you guys. Before we wrap up, I just want to let you know that Sister Girl Radio will be back on July 2nd, and I am every other Sunday, just to remind you guys. And before I go, I want to say coming up next, we have Wanda B with He Say, She Say. Please follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Sister Girl Entertainment. I am Talisha at Sister Girl Radio, IntellectualRadio.com, and you guys have a great Sunday. Say bye, Will.